Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I have a special guest on, Cory, and this is going to be a very unique episode. I guess it's somewhat real estate related. I met Cory. He is actually renting a unit from an owner that I'm managing a property for. And let's kind of talk about our encounter, Cory.
Yeah, it was unique. Honestly, I was a little bit afraid. So I was, oh man, are we going to be able to renew the lease, or we're going to have to move? You guys came up, and it was. I was a little bit nervous. We started talking, and it's expensive to live in Hawaii, and
I want to just sorry to interrupt you, but it's because David, my partner, is like the mean one. I'm like the nice one, and Dave's like the mean one. That's probably
oh,
why
really?
you're
So
on there.
good
Yeah,
fireman.
yeah, good cop, bad, yeah, yeah, a good cop, fired, yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. But I was really glad to meet you guys, and all that kind of instantly melted away when I met you and found out that you guys are just, pretty good people. As we were getting to know each other and talk about the house, I was really excited because I was kind of branching out, trying to find other ways to make money outside of my normal job. And I recently wrote a book, and I was kind of excited about it. And I want to share. And I think that I know you have a kid that was a little bit older, um, and then
And then Dave, yeah, Dave just had his kind of
yeah,
recently too.
he had
So
a,
yeah,
and I just recently published a children's book, and I wanted to share. I was excited about that, and wanted to share with you. And then we got down this path of like just talking about side hustles and making extra money, and how we can all live in Hawaii, hopefully.
yeah, and I think I mentioned, yeah, I'm trying to grow this YouTube channel and trying to help people get started. And I think we were talking about like house hacking and maybe how you can expand on, getting ahead in Hawaii because it is very expensive. And yeah, and then you mentioned you just came out with a book and then I was like, oh, this is like perfect, right? I want to know more about this and this, this is the book that you came out with. And there's actually a story behind it, though, right? It wasn't like I'm going to write a book and I'm a writer, I'm a creator, but there's a story behind it. And let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a story. It's a journey. I have I have a few chickens, and there was a mouse in the house, and it didn't go as friendly as it is in the story. Caught the mouse and got rid of it. But I thought that was a really cool way. Would be a really cool friendship. And I have young kids. I have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. Did I say 3-year-old? Ooh, she's 4 now. Wow. Yeah, the
Yeah, it
2-year-old.
goes fast, man.
And the idea would be the initial idea was like, well, that would be really cool just to have some kind of publish a book. I think it's on a bucket list of a lot of people. I don't really find myself that creative. I did have a tremendous amount of help. I have some really creative friends, and I went together. I got all this together, and it took a long time. It's not as simple as I thought it was, and I think that's what stops a lot of people. You think it's like from A to B, no problem. That's easy. And then you start to dig into that, and there's so much in between that. And that's when people kind of drop off. And I was like, I'm not going to do that this time. Um, so after kind of putting it all together, which took again a really long time, just figuring out where you put the words, the background, the what the characters are going to look like. It was pretty intense. And I'm sure if people have done it multiple times, it gets easier. And if I did it again, it would probably be significantly easier. Um, so I'm all done. I complete the book, and I'm like ready to go publish it. Actually, I helped a friend publish a book on Amazon like a few years back. And I remember the process being, it was relatively easy. It was a thick book, and it was just text. And I was like, okay, it's pretty easy. So I get it all done, and I'm going to publish it on. on Amazon, and again, a lot of work went into getting these 11 pages. Like I was like, okay, 11 pages. I did a lot of research. I went through all my children's books, was like, okay, what's the key amount of pages? Yeah, okay, 11 pages, great. What's the size? These are all things that you don't really think about. You're just thinking A to B is super easy, or A to Z is really easy. Um, so I'm going, sounds like your partners are out there.
Yeah. Finally working, man.
um, so I'm going, and I finally get it all together. I mean, I had to go on Canva. I don't know if you're familiar with Canva, but just last minute touch ups, knowing nothing about graphic design and stuff like that. Um, Figuring out the placement of the text and the shadows and things like that. So I finally get it done. I'm super excited to get on Amazon. And then I go on Amazon and I figure out that the minimum page, I think, was 21 pages. And like instantly, my heart was like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to keep. The story's complete. It's done. It's ready to go. Like, it's perfect. I did the research, 21 pages, it's done. Like, or 11 pages, it's done. And then I just get really kind of deflated a little bit. You're going to ask a question?
No, so wait, so you thought 11 pages was the minimum, or how
I,
did?
I didn't even think about the
Oh,
minimum.
okay, okay,
I just wrote a book and I'm thinking it's easy to publish on Amazon, no problem.
yeah.
And then I go to publish it and I realize that the minimum amount of pages is 21 pages. So I'm like, there's no way I can get this to go. So I think a lot of times and among, from that point backwards, there were so many similar situations where I hit was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to keep going. And what I had to do was after work, after the kids were asleep, instead of going to bed, I got up and I was like, I'm gonna spend half an hour, 30 minutes, an hour, 11, 12 o'clock, just to move this needle forward a little bit. And that actually taught me a lot, because I feel like I've had a lot of good ideas in the past and they just kind of don't go anywhere. And they're legitimate reasons why I'm not being able to move forward. But it's just that perseverance and consistency that on this particular project that I was able to overcome. So I'm on Amazon and I'm like, oh man, I have no idea what I'm going to be able to do. So I'm like, I'm like Googling, how do I make a, longer book and da-da. And the genius idea came across of turning into a coloring book. And I was like, wow, that's freaking amazing. That's so genius. So my
Yeah.
book is 11 pages.
No, no, yeah. So go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, the book is 11 pages. And I was like, okay, well, my friend's a graphic designer. Taking the color out is actually quite a bit of work. It's not as simple as you think. Like, hey, you just click a button, take all the color out. There's a lot of work that went into it. But I worked with my friend and she was able to help me out. And she took all the colors out of it. So I put it together. Boom, I got, the cover page, barely getting even the minimum amount of pages that I need to get the book done. But I thought it was such a genius idea. And actually, when I first thought of the book, I was thinking it would be like a thick cover and like nice paper and stuff like that. But actually, the Amazon doesn't offer all that stuff. And if you did do a hardcover, it had to be more pages or something like that. And then I realized, actually, the paper that it came on is perfect for coloring book. So it just ended up working out. Um, it worked out really well. I'm really proud of it, and it's something that's going to be on my shelf for a long time. Hopefully, Amazon for a long time as well. And it's just an accomplishment that I'm able to check off my list.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this was just a random encounter, and it was just, I just, you told us about this, and then I just was like, man, this is amazing, and the fact that you had to pivot, like I think that's what really got me intrigued by this story, and you had to pivot, you figured it out, but like you kind of touched on, you tried a lot of or had other ideas before, nothing has really come from it. Why do you think maybe this one you followed through or pushed through? I mean, was it, you think maybe your family, your kid? I mean, just
That's a
different
good,
mindset?
yeah, that's a good question. I think I've always had this entrepreneur kind of mindset from when I was little. I had a really unique childhood for another podcast for sure. Another very unique childhood, but I was always trying to sell. Like I was trying to sell things when I was a little kid, like whatever way to kind of make money. And then as I got older, you know, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, create my own thing. Um, and all the ideas that I've had, I think I was always wanting other people to join because I feel like I work better as a team. Like I need a partner to get me through this. And my wife was very supportive. But she's like, yeah, that's a great idea. But I think at some point, I'm like, not that money is the motivation for the book. I think it was just like, can I accomplish this? But if I could sell a lot, is this going to take us to a place where we're going to be able to get where we need to be to stay in this paradise?
Yeah.
And that's kind of a motivating factor. I think having kids, being at a point where like, okay, I feel okay, but I don't feel okay enough where like I can, we need something else. It's a must to be here. You have to have, unless you're, you know, making a CEO of some, you know,
Yeah.
or something like that.
And not only that, I mean, if it's okay, you also mentioned, when we first met, you kind of had like a little setback, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's also another
Yeah.
struggle that you had, and you had same thing. You just kind of pivoted, and you got to move on from it.
Um, that was a very unique, you definitely learn your lesson, and everyone knows this from the start. And I think I still got caught is if it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. So my wife has five sisters. They grew up in a church community in Seattle, and they had very very tight knit community. Really good friend they grew up with. Really nice guy. I never met him. He and we had some other community members here that we all kind of hang out with, and they were pitched this PPE during this is during COVID, and there was these like everyone wanted masks and hand sanitizer and stuff like that. And it was basically, hey, I have all these invoices that I need to fill. Everything's all set. I just need the money to purchase them. And when I do, I purchase them. I give them to them. They give me the money, and we're all making bank. So this guy's actually in New Jersey. And a lot of my friends had did it, which was really interesting. And you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars they put into it, and I was so skeptical. But I was like, okay, maybe this is the way rich people get rich. They know someone, and like they get this break, and I'm like, okay. And it's honestly, I didn't have a ton of money to invest, but the little money that we did have in saving, we invested it. And last not 2023 but 2022 December we were supposed to get this money, and actually we did get one check for 9K. I was like, okay, wow, we got like, wow, okay, this is legit. And then December comes around and we're supposed to get everything plus all the interest. Oh, sorry guys, something hold up, you know, we're still da da da. And I'm like, oh, red flags already. So I'm calling this guy, hey, I need to talk with you. And not realizing, like, I didn't realize how many people were in this. There was 50, 60 people. And I'm like, all right. So I'm like, oh, we got taken. And they're like, no, all the family, friends, oh, no, you know, he's da da da, it's fine. I'm calling them. I'm like, I'm sending, I'm using Google to write fake lawyer letters to him saying, give me my money. Like, I don't even want the interest. I just want the money. Just give it to me. Um, and turns out he was involved with another company that was, I think intentionally, originally his intentions weren't bad. He didn't have it. But at one point, he found out that he was getting taken,
Hmm.
and he never came clean. And at that point, he's guilty, right? So we invested a ton of money. I see my friend that did invest, he sends me this article. Hey, is this the guy you're talking about? I'm like, just the pure heart drop was like, oh my God, we got taken. Big old Ponzi scheme, $23 million this guy took from all these people. And yeah, it was a lot of money. So he got taken from someone else. That guy actually just got out of prison for doing the same thing, but he was using a different name. But it was a real estate Ponzi scheme actually, where it was like $100 million. And so we got taken hardcore, and that was the money that we wanted to use for, you know, a down payment for house. we took a non-traditional route. We went and lived in Japan for 6 years after we graduated college, and explored the world a little bit. And all my friends that didn't do that stayed in the towns that they were in. They got their jobs. They became higher level in their jobs. They bought houses and things like that. We put that on pause to explore the world. I don't regret it at all. But now is the time for us to be like, okay, we can, we're going to get a house. It's time to settle down. And that didn't happen because we got taken. And that really was a blow, because that was everything that was a big chunk of our savings. I guess you're right. And going back to the book, like that was like, okay, I need to figure out ways to get back where we were. And it was also,
I mean, I think so much people would have just given up or said, you know what, I'm just gonna work overtime. I'm gonna, work two jobs. I'm gonna, just put my head down and grind. And you are grinding, but it's more. You're also, like you're saying, you have that mindset of entrepreneurship and building something, and you, like you said, you're taking you're going to the plate, man. You're taking your swings, and so you have this book now, and you have something else that you have just come out with, another idea that I think is going to be big, and I want to hear about this too.
yeah, the book was that gave me that feeling of like, okay, I can get from A to Z, and it is possible regardless of what hurdles come across. And that really, like, that really was powerful, because all the other ideas that I had, like, wouldn't this be a great idea? And like everyone's, yeah, 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 but no one really we just drop it. So a while ago, my friends were I went to the North Shore. We're at Matsumoto Shaved Ice. There's like a little convenience store over there, and we're seeing all the cool things that you can get. And um, we just were like, hey, wouldn't it be cool? Like, the shaka is so powerful. It means so much. It's more than just uh, hey. It's like if you get road rage and someone cuts you off, and you're like, oh man, and you're like, ugh. Someone throws out a shaka, you're like instantly, oh, all right, brother, it's okay. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
generally,
yeah,
depending on how bad the road thing was, but it's like an instant, like, it's all good. Like, I'm sorry, thank you, I'm sorry, hello, kind of spreading the aloha. Like, wouldn't it be cool if there was a Shaka Bobble? And I was like, that's gotta exist. Like, there's no way that doesn't exist. And so I just started doing research, and I'm like, whoa, that doesn't exist. How does that not exist? So months go by, and before I was telling you, like, I want partners, like I want people to do it with me. And I was like, come on, guys, let's do it. And all my friends were like, yeah, we'd throw down, we'd invest, and 3-4 months goes by, nothing happens. I'm like, come on, I think even like a year goes by, and I'm like, we bring it up every once in a while, and I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm gonna do. Are you guys okay? I'm just gonna do it. So I just do all this research, and it's way more complicated. As simple as the product is, way more complicated to design. I'm working with a 3D artist guy that is trying to make it, and he first comes out with the shaka. That's like, I'm like, dude, you don't understand. Shaka it can't be a distant form. It's got to be a proper shaka. It can't be too tight. Can't be too,
yeah.
so that was a lot going back, and I didn't have a lot of money to invest it because I just lost it all. Uh, so I didn't have a lot of money to invest in getting that design. So I don't know if you're familiar with Fiverr. Fiverr is an awesome place where you can get designs and help with things that you might not have that expertise in. Um, so I'm working with this guy to kind of design this. Actually, before that, I reach out to manufacturers, and I'm like, hey, can you, like, I literally take a picture of my hand and like do this, and like, hey, can you make a shaka bobble like this? And they go back and withdraw, and it just is not working out. And actually, just that conversation alone is months going back and forth. And I'm like, look, dude, this is not work. Like, I need to go figure out another way to get the design team to make
Okay,
it.
but like even then, like who do you reach out to? Like, how do you know? Like, who do like you said, you reached out to people. Like, where do you even start for that?
Google is the best place, I'd say. Google for so I find on Alibaba.
Okay.
Alibaba is like 20 years ago, finding someone to manufacture something for you is like, would probably be, you have to have connections. You have to know someone that speaks that language. I had no idea how incredibly streamlined that process is now, and relatively simple. There is a lot of hurdles. Language barriers is huge. Like, you don't know, quality, all that other stuff. It was quite a bit. I mean, the Fiverr thing, you have to look on all the Google reviews. You have to look on the manufacturer reviews. Okay, are they going to take my money and run with it? Are they going to steal my idea and give it away to whoever they're working with, kind of thing? And that was, again, I mean, the process for that was pretty intense. After month, I mean, I'd probably say at least a year it took. Now, if I did it again, it'd be a lot shorter. Just same with the book, right? Like, you learn a lot. But then you think about, oh, the packaging. I didn't even think about packaging. I'm like just worried about the product. Packaging. So my friend, she's from here. She's a graphic designer, uh, amazing graphic designer, and she designed the packaging for me, which I think is just as important as the product itself. She designed the packaging. I did a bunch of research on the Shaka. Like, most people don't know where it comes from, and there's not really a main area. Like, nobody really knows, but like the the myth kind of behind it. There was a sugar plantation worker who lost his three fingers in an accident, and then they changed his job, and then he had no fingers, so he was like this, right? So he'd be like, hey, and that's kind of where it came from.
Huh.
That's generally when you do. I did a lot of research to make sure that, I didn't want to promote anything that was too off history. But when you do a lot of research, it all kind of comes back to this guy that lost his fingers, which is a quite interesting story. Um, so after all this, then I figure out, oh my God, there's shipping. I didn't realize how much shipping would be cost more than the product itself. So I'm calculating the cost, and am I going to be able to sell it for a profit, and what all this stuff, and just figure out the logistics for shipping was a couple months a nightmare. In the end, figured it out. December 20, I think the week before Christmas, it comes. I was shooting for like October, but it comes a week before Christmas. So came week before Christmas. I got it. Super excited. I showed you the demo, so I had to get
Yeah,
it.
okay, yeah. I was like, I think we sub. Okay, that was a demo. Okay.
So I gave you. They sent one demo, and the demo came, and I was super excited. And then the paper that I showed you is like, I literally printed out paper from Office Max, and I cut out the thing to make the box to get an
Okay, okay.
idea of what it would look like. So it came. Super excited. Again, I don't see it being a huge money maker,
Yeah,
but like a huge money maker. But if it's going to help me get that much more to a down
yeah,
payment house or something like that, and it opens up. I've learned so much from this
yeah.
process. Um, that's kind of what I'm looking for, and I'm always out there looking for another idea. But now I know that, like, those ideas aren't anything until you're consistent and you're persistent in making sure those things happen. Um, so can I show it to you?
Sure. Of course.
Yeah. So there's the Shaka Bobble.
So how many different, I guess, I don't know if it's prototype the right word, or these styles, or did you go through?
So he only sent one, because every one he sent and every demo he made, I had to pay
Oh, okay.
a fee, right? So
Okay.
I want to go through a lot. So a lot of it was like, just like, okay, is the graphic of it like good enough? And then just kind of cross the fingers that it was. I think we went through um, just a few demos to get it perfect. Like, even like, I think we had to go through a few of the bases, because I wasn't sure, should be a square base. What color should the base be on top? Like, what should we say? And even the bobble itself and the spring inside. There's so much more
Yeah.
into it that
So what's on the pack? Does it have the story about the shotgun on the packaging? Oh, okay.
you got the story there.
Okay.
Yeah, so it gives
I,
a little bit of a history of it. I think people can take that, and and that it's, I think, things that have story behind it is just generally culturally better, just because it they're leaving with some kind of sense of where things came from.
And how
And
does it adhere to the? It has it sticks to it, or
yeah, I'll pull it out for you.
yeah.
I have it on my. I'm not big on having things on my car, but I have it attached to my car. It comes with an M3 sticky
Oh,
thing,
okay, okay.
and I have it on my car, and uh, and I love it. I mean, it bobbled just like that. It
Yeah.
doesn't go like this, which is perfect, right? It goes like that, and it's
I
hard.
when you were saying like you've never seen one or there has, I mean, but me and Dave are thinking like, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen one, and that is, and yeah, that's amazing. So now I guess the question is, I guess everybody has tint on their windows nowadays, so it's hard. Should it be in the front or the back of the view?
That's a good question. If you have a car, putting in the back would actually pretty. I honestly haven't thought about that. But if you had a car and you put it in the back and you
Yeah,
show people, no one's gonna like. I think out of the interactions that you have, people are gonna look at that and smile. They're not gonna be angry if you cut them off. Maybe it depends on how bad you cut them off. It's not just even just for the desk, the bookshelf, um, any place. I think it could have a place. But I have it right on my dash, and actually, instead of having it face towards people, I have it face me. So when I get angry and I'm driving, I'm like, oh no, I can't get angry.
I love it. See, I mean, like I said, this was just such a random, meeting, and I love the whole story about everything. And I mean, so what do you think is going to be the next project? Do you have something in the pipeline, or are you just focusing on that? You think you're going to expand off of that?
That's a good question. Well, so I wanted to get an idea, and I think I want to make some modifications to it. And I so sorry, going back to it a little bit is I ordered a ton of them. I ordered 1,000. I didn't realize how many boxes would be in it. I'm thinking like, oh, like I get this crate. This guy pulls up in a crate and just boop, here you go. And so I have 1,000 in my bedroom. There's boxes. There's
You're breaking the lease. No, I'm just playing.
uh, there's 36 in a box, which is really cool. And then now that I have them, selling them is the main thing, right? And I don't have a lot of time. I have a full time job, I have family and stuff like that, obligations. I went up to the North Shore. I went to every single store possible, like that potentially would be a good fit for this. Surf shops and stuff like that. Um, and I would say actually every store I went to, the stores that I went to actually mostly had a lot of interest, and some of them said yes, which was really cool because I don't have any history of selling it. There's no like, hey, this is a product that for sure is going to sell, but I talked with them and they were kind enough to kind of test it out, and I
Yeah.
think they're doing pretty well. I just recently got 2 checks, which was really really cool. We're in 3 stores in the North Shore, Waimea Valley, Aloha General Store, Green World Coffee Farm. They're all amazing places to visit and great stores. And then also we're in one of the hotels in here down in Waikiki. I can't remember the name.
That
uh,
is awesome. Do you think, I mean, I don't know if maybe this is in your pipeline already, but do you think you'll ever get like logo, like, like the store could put their branding on it? Like, I don't know.
yeah, I mean, I'm really up for whatever's going to help them and whatever's going to help this idea grow. I think it would be really cool to kind of expand on the that that realm of like shaka. Like my friend designed this little shaka. I think it's really cool having a shirt, a hat with a little logo or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. I'm not too big on like big old kind of logos, but like those little tiny signs. I mean, even honestly, starting a business, I've never started a business before, but I have to. I have to have a GET, tax
Yeah.
ID, all that stuff, and I learned all that through this this process, which was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, like I said, I think I focus more on real estate, but I see a lot of similarities because a lot of people, they get into real estate investing and they don't realize you're kind of a business owner. You have to figure. You're saying you got to get maybe a GE license. You got to figure out bookkeeping. You got to figure out how to manage things. Pay bills. And there's just so much similarities there. And like you're saying too, like the book was kind of, you got your feet wet, right? You kind of figured a little bit of things out. And that's why even like the out of state investing for real estate, I tell people, your first deal is probably not going to be a home run. You just want a solid base hit, safe kind of returns, and then you kind of grow off of that. But you learn the process, and it sounds like that's what you're doing. You're learning, you get your networking, you're figuring out how to make connections and who to reach out to. But I just love this story, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm excited to tell it. It makes me, me saying it again makes me continue to work. Like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing. Yeah, this does feel good. I recently went to ABC and I went to their door. I knocked on it and I was like, hey, to the corporate offices down the street from my office, and I was like, hey, I have this product. Can you, take a look at it? Can you put it in? The buyer has a little bit of a reputation. She's really nice though, and she called me and she's like, "Hey, Cory, no, not happening." Oh,
Did she give a reason why though? I mean, like, did she give kind of feedback or?
she said in the past they had some Shaka thing and it didn't do well. But what she was describing didn't sound like it was exactly what I was making. I think, but she said she'll keep it in mind, and if people start asking about it, then they'll reconsider. But that was a big hit because my whole idea was to get this in ABC stores.
Yeah, I think that would have been big.
That would
But
have
yeah,
been. But I think that you know there's still opportunity, and now the plan is when I first talked with her, which was like probably a year ago, doesn't probably even remember because I was like, hey, I might have this product. Is this something you'd be interested in? She's like, well, it has to have this and this and this and this. So instead of going in there and be like, hey, I have this, small business that I haven't sold anything really yet, like, would you put this in there? I'm going to go and say, hey, this is why you need it in your store. I've sold these many in this amount of time. This is the demand. People want it. You need it. And I'm going to go back in a few months and say, and try again. And I think one day it'll be there. And if not, hopefully it's selling well somewhere else.
you got to follow. When she leaves work, you got to cut her off and then have that bubble shaking in the back, and she's gonna see it, and she's, oh, okay, now it's all good. So everything is better.
That's a good
That's
idea.
how you're gonna ring her in.
Yeah, I should give all the employees around
Yeah,
the Shaka Bobble. Yeah,
yeah,
all right, that's a really good idea. Actually, I might.
yeah. Well, I love this story, and like you said, maybe we'll do it again, and we'll hear more about your upbringing, your interesting upbringing, and maybe other side hustles you were trying or trying to build upon. But I love it. I just want people to know that there's a lot of ways to do things out there, and don't give up. You'll find something will come across your table, and you just got to run with it. But for you, I mean, so you're in some stores, you said, but can people order it directly from you, or where can they find you, or how can they connect with you?
Um, I'm trying to get it online. I just been a little bit crazy at work, so I haven't been able to get it online yet. But I do have an Instagram, and people have been actually. I did a collab with a local kind of Instagram influencer, which was really cool. And I started a little Instagram, and the idea is like, hey, where's your Shaka? Where's it at? Like, is it in New Zealand? Is it in is it on the mainland? Is it in your car? Is it at the beach? So it's like, where's your Shaka? So the Instagram handle is Shaka Bobble, Shaka_Bobble, and then you can DM me there. And if you're in Hawaii, I can drop it off to you. And if you're on the mainland, I can have it shipped.
Cool, I love it, man. Yeah, I'll put all the links below, and then yeah, maybe we'll do like an Instagram live or something one day, and you can have it on there. But I just love this story. I want to see where this goes, and I hope I can help you in any way. And like I said, I'm not a big channel or anything, but we're both trying to grow, and we're both trying to do something that make some passive income or side hustles out there, and just help others realize that there's other ways out there to do things.
Yeah, Mark, I really appreciated having me on here, and it was a really cool experience. First time for me on podcast, and I'm super excited. Again, talking about it gets me rejuvenated. I'm going to start right now and see if I can
I love it, man. Yep, keep it going, and we'll do this again, man. Thanks for coming on.
appreciate it.
All right,
Bye.
Corey. Bye.